Talks without fear and favor.
Talks without
A
bias.
talk of factual and grounded truth.
Broadcasting live at University of Mindanao Matina Campus.
I am Ivan.
And I am Alea. This is GE2 Talks.
For today's talk, we have the updates of the presidential candidates' campaign amidst COVID-19. And for the exciting part, today we are going to interview the political candidates live.
The COVID-19 pandemic didn't stop the presidential candidates from campaigning. Each of them showed a dedication and seriousness in serving their countrymen. Senator Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. went to Manila to explain his platforms, while Senator Bato de la Rosa went to our Muslim brothers in ARMM to show his respect and to emphasize that they too are citizens of the Philippines.
The People's Champ Manny Pacman Pacquiao went to the victims of Typhoon Nation and distributed relief goods and comforted the victims. Lastly, Lenny Robredo went to a number of barangays in Quezon and explained it to the people her platforms. Though the campaign of the candidates strictly followed the protocols implemented by the IATF, they took extra care by minimizing the number of people present in their campaign and made use of different media platforms instead.
Don't leave just yet, because when we return, we will have a live interview of our presidential candidates. They will also answer the question of some selected citizens in the regions of the Philippines.
Making leaders across the island since 1946. The University of Mindanao continues its mission of developing human resources in the field of law, education, engineering and architecture, business and accounting, marketing and management, arts and sciences, social work, nursing, criminology and forestry, graduate and postgraduate studies, technical, vocational and livelihood courses. Study at the University of Mindanao, the first in leadership education.
And we're back together with our candidates.
Before we proceed to the prayers of the people, may I just ask, how well is your campaign going?
Hello, Mr. Ivan and Miss Alea, especially to our viewers out there, the Filipino people. So far, my campaign, it went well. It went surprisingly well, given the current situation. And especially, I would like to thank you, my family, especially to my supporters as well, who continuously shown their love and support towards me. And also, I would like to add that we just finished meeting on some points of our campaign in order for it to go well in these coming months.
My campaign is doing very well. I traveled to specific locations in Luzon and adhering to strict regulations implemented by IATF to tell people about my objectives and platforms. Also, my Sagad Kapamilya goods are still being distributed, and whether I win or lose, I want to continue doing so.
As a candidate for a president, I want my campaign to do well even in this time of pandemic. Through my campaign manager, everything is doing good as we want to persuade you, voters. That includes having advertisement, speech about platforms and way to have a better country. I want to focus my campaign more on pandemic. So we gather and want to give people on the street some alcohol and masks. As we can see, some of them are not having it. Lastly, I don't want people to only see me as a politically active in the role of a citizen, but also one who campaign for change.
I recently traveled to Dinalua in my province to witness to the oath-taking ceremony for new members of the People's Champ movement. So far, it's good. It is good.
Wow! All of you are really worthy to be the next leader of our country. But our country only needs one. And to help the people in choosing their leader, few individuals presented themselves. They also have questions about your platform and yourself as well.
We have here Miss Leah, a fresh graduate from University of Mindanao in Davao, Mr. John Paul, a public transport driver from Manila, Mr. Nur Minsuari, a vendor from Mejias, and Mr. Gab, a businessman from Mindanao.
Good day to everyone who have come to this event. My name is Leah and I am recently graduated from University of Mindanao. I am delighted to be here. Clarification is needed for us. We have a lot of questions for the presidential candidates as students, specifically to Senator Bongbong Marcos. It takes more than prayers to make difference in this country, especially since many of those praying, including many church leaders, are imprinted and habitual delicacy leaders. Worse yet, they are imposters. A national cleansing is required, leaders not pretenders, or what we needed. In terms of human rights, this is the question some of us are interested in. Do you think the death penalty should be reinsisted? What is your reasoning for doing so? Are you in for the Khahar courts remaining in place? You have a strategy for restoring your father's legacy. Is it possible for our country to be placed under martial law again?
When it comes to death penalty, we all know that it is a very vast topic, and for the human rights as well, the implementation of death penalty would be discussed later on, if I were to win this presidential campaign. And also, if those questions appear in the presidential debate, then we would like to answer that. But right now, we would focus on our campaign because I want it to go well, especially in the near upcoming times now. When it comes to Sharia courts, also I would like to discuss it later because I just want to focus on these campaigns first, and then we'll eventually go there for the discussion of those things. When it comes to the legacy of my dad, the late former president, my leadership would be kind of a unifying one, again, in which I will try to make this country as a whole again. And for those asking these questions, many times, will I be in favor or will there be implementation of the martial law? Again, those topics are really vast, but again, as what I have said in my answer years back, I don't see anything wrong about martial law, and if there are some people who were wrong, they believe they were wrong. Some of them, I would like you to apologize to them, but will I apologize to the improvements that contributed to our country? No. But the discussion of it, since it is a religious topic, will be focused later on. But for you to know, if the situations are met, martial law is a possible thing to do.
Thank you for this opportunity. By the way, I am John Paul Adaptar. I have some questions about Senator Manny Pacquiao. First and foremost, why are you running for president? You are aware that the president is in charge of implementing and enforcing the laws passed by Congress, and to that end, appoints the heads of federal agencies, including the cabinet. Second, what are your specific motivations for running? Is it just for a good time? What in detail is your vision of the country? Lastly, what is your specific blueprint for putting your vision into action?
I am running for president because we need a government that will serve the country by being compassionate, to the citizens and having transparency. I will always fight inside the ring or outside. I will make sure to put those corrupt politicians in jail, or they are responsible for what they do. I'm motivated to run as president because of my experience in boxing, and I will never back down in any fight. I want to help my citizens. I want to help the poor people and run for president for a better future for Filipino and to punish corrupt people in the government. Fighting is my specialty and I will fight for the Filipinos.
Good day to each and every one of us. I am Min, and it is my pleasure to be here to question our presidential candidates. Though my questions are meant for Mr. Bato de la Rosa. It's been a long time, around 35 years, from February 1986 to October 2021. However, nothing has significantly changed in the past 3.5 decades. It's a time span of 1.5 generation. Just to address our state issues, we need a good governance, but first we need a good leaders. I hope you don't mind answering my question, Mr. Bato de la Rosa. Do you have people lined up to serve you on your cabinet? Why did you choose them? And what are their distinguishing characteristics that led to your selection? Thank you for answering, Mr. Bato de la Rosa.
As a candidate for a president, I want my campaign to do well even in this time of pandemic. Through my campaign manager, everything is doing good as we want to pursue you, voters. That includes having advertisement, speech about platforms and way to have a better country. I want to focus my campaign more on pandemic. So we gather and want to give people on the street some alcohol and masks. As we can see, some of them are not having it. Lastly, I don't want people to only see me as a politically active in the role of a citizen, but also one who campaign for change.
Greetings to the people of the Philippines. I am honored to be here. Thank you for providing me with this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I have a question about Miss Leni Robredo, a wounded mother's land's welcoming arm for an adored homecoming son was shattered by a bullet, and a yellow ribbon became the symbol of her anguish. Many of us are intrigued. What does the pink ribbon stand for? And why are you running in the first place? Is it solely for the purpose of putting an end to the Marcos regime? You should have run because of Filipinos' poverty, not because of a quarrel or a spat between political families. Have you made any plans? What about the unemployed Filipinos? Many Filipinos are marginalized, and many Filipinos have no idea what the future holds for them. Give us the main reason why we should vote Ms. Leni Robredo for being the 17th president in our country.
Good day, everyone. Thank you for your question. Many of you asked, and I heard some prejudices about changing my color campaign into pink. The reason for the sudden change is about the battle that we are now fighting. What we are now fighting is larger than the fight before. What we are fighting now is not just the return of the dictator's son. We are fighting bad governance that has been the cause of the problems that we are now facing. Pink is a sign of larger battle and a color of protest. As I have stated, my presidential run is a fight for Filipinos against leaders who have been corrupting, acting incompetently, and resorting to violence to solve problems. I want to bring an end to the reign of the worst leaders and filthy politics. I'm running for this job because I'm aware of the pain we've been through. I understand that this is the position in which one leads the people. People in the Philippines. We're talking about your life and the lives of your fellow citizens here, who is form of hospitals, health workers lament their condition, and those who have lost their employment go hungry. I have a lot of plans that I hope to carry out if I win this election. As I put myself in this situation, I vow, in the case of joblessness, particularly among adults, I believe that before we can reopen our economy, we must first manage the virus and its propagation. Controlling the pandemic, empowering healthcare, and boosting access to hospitals, halting the food crisis, reclaiming our own land to West Philippine Sea, resolving joblessness, and instituting institution and cleaning up bureaucracy are among the primary priorities I've set for myself. Those objectives will not be met unless joining. Let us wage this war for the Philippines' bright future.
Let's give a round of applause to our candidates. Clearly, yes, we are so glad to have you candidates in our show. We hope that all of you, may it be winning or losing, will do their best for the betterment of our country. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you, candidates. We really hope that this interview will help our citizen in choosing the best candidate for our country.
I am Alea.
And I am Ivan. Just a simple reminder, your vote is your voice.
This is G2 Talks.